Today's webinar, we will be covering the College and Career Readiness curriculum and its recent updates. Through this session, we will be sharing helpful college and career advising lessons from Texas OnCourse. Jamie will highlight the changes and updates to the curriculum and spotlight some of our academy learning areas that support your work in middle and high schools. We're also excited to have Tamara with us this morning, and she will share the Navigate Exploring College and Careers workbook from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. So I know we might have a few of you on the line that may be new to us, so I wanted to just take a moment to introduce Texas OnCourse. With Texas OnCourse, all students, no matter where they come from or where they're headed, have a plan for success after high school. So all of the materials that we produce and at all of the trainings that we provide with Texas OnCourse, we always begin with this end in mind, that the work that we're doing is to help our students have a valuable plan after high school. We are a state-funded initiative designed to improve college and career advising and readiness across the state. Texas OnCourse is part of the Texas Higher Education College Career and Advising Department. We were created at the request of the Texas legislator that works in partnership with the governor's tri-agency workforce initiative. All of these organizations work together to connect education and industry in Texas. The users of our tools include our middle and high school counselors, teachers, administrators, and community-based organizations that focus on post-secondary success. So a few things before we get started. As I mentioned, we will be recording today's session. The recording will be sent out to all of our registrants. So if you have no colleague or someone else on your team that was not able to make it this morning, no worries. They'll be able to receive this recording as well. We also have all of our upcoming and previous webinars posted on our webpage. So whenever you have a moment, feel free to browse some of those previous topics as well. Something a little different this morning, for those of you that have been to some of our past webinars, we will be asking you to participate in a few different surveys throughout this presentation. Each of these surveys enable us to continuously improve our content, as well as better understand how we can support you going forward. That being said, please have a second device handy in order to scan some of those QR codes as we go through today's session. During these surveys, I will also pause briefly, allowing you just a few moments to complete them. They are all very brief, so not much of your time, and we really appreciate your feedback. And as I mentioned, you can find our previously recorded webinars on our webpage, but you can also find them on our YouTube channel. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe to our YouTube channel, definitely feel free to do that. And that's where we provide some of our most up-to-date information. A little bit about what we are going through today. We are going to welcome you all and tell you a little bit about ourselves. And then we're going to pass it over to Jamie, who will cover our resource spotlight, our college and career curriculum updates. And Tamara will then share with us the Navigate Exploring College and Careers workbook from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas. We'll also have a little bit of time at the end for some Q&A. So please add your questions to the Q&A box and we'll address them at the end of this webinar. My name is Andrea Panter. I am the Senior Network Coordinator with Texas OnCourse. I started my education career a little over 15 years ago as a special education teacher with Teach for America in Houston. From there, I worked at a nonprofit in Austin, Austin Partners in Education, as a curriculum specialist and math program manager. And now I have the privilege of working with Jamie Bell.
Thank you, Andrea. My name is Jamie, and I am the program coordinator for our middle school resources getting them updated and out to you guys, as well as maintaining our academy content. Prior to this, I wrote curriculum and taught 7th grade science and 8th grade science for about 10 years in Plano.
Thank you, Jamie. And then we also have Tamara this morning. Tamara, are you able to hear us? I think she's still trying to figure out her sound, which is fine. So we're going to go ahead and hop into Jamie's portion, and Tamara will be able to introduce you here in a moment. So we're going to jump into our resource spotlight.
Okay, sounds great. So the college and career readiness curriculum has had a refresh. I'll review some helpful college and career advising lessons from this resource, highlight the changes and updates to the curriculum, and spotlight the academy learning areas that support your work in middle and high schools. I also want to share a way that you can provide input and be in the know when we put out educator and student resources for you guys. Before we start, I wanted y'all to let us know, what is your favorite part of the resource that we are spotlighting today, the Texas OnCourse College and Career Readiness Curriculum, or the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas Navigate Workbook. So in the chat, if you could, along with your Valentine's Day candy, just let us know what you already like about these resources, or if you're completely new, that's fine too. Not sure yet. New. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's good to see. I'm so glad we have so many first-time curriculum users. I saw Introduction to Pathways. Yes, that's great. All the OnCourse resources. That's great. College planning. New. Love seeing all the new comments. Welcome, guys. Great resource, very comprehensive. Students love being able to work in the paper. I can't read the full comment, but yay. Okay, that's great. We can go ahead and I'm excited to look at all those fully in the chat later on. I have 2 screens up right now, but we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay. So as a reminder, and just letting everyone get a look at some of the pages from the curriculum, Texas OnCourse offers a free comprehensive college and career readiness curriculum with lesson plans, assessments, student handouts, and so much more. It includes 6 units covering college and career readiness, soft skills, high school graduation planning, career exploration, post-secondary options, even things like social networking skills, understanding finances, and preparing for a job search. You can use this curriculum for a semester long or a year long. We even have options for plug and play, or if you're a history teacher that is also being asked to cover, you know, what overlaps with your TEKS as well. We have everything covered for you to implement a college and career readiness course for your students. Not to mention, just going to plug our other middle school resources here. We have Map My Grad, Middle Galaxy, and Share Your Road, all on our site that you can check out to use for your students. Next. So first, I just want to talk about what updates we have. Like I said, it's been refreshed. We made some minor corrections to formatting and aligning our wording with TEA standards. For example, we've changed anywhere mentioned 16 career clusters to the TEA Texas approved 14 career clusters. We also added in an emphasis on the definition of college readiness and career readiness, because those are 2 separate things. And after many discussions, we're defining college readiness as having the ability as an entering student to successfully complete a freshman level college course without remediation. and career readiness as having the critical thinking skills, attitudes, and foundational knowledge to succeed in an entry-level job on a career pathway. We're going to review the lesson plan format and what teachers can use for planning, as well as what student worksheets look like. And you can find all of this on all these updates when you go to the you download the curriculum from this link that's going to be in the chat box. And we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So on the left, oh, yep, you're good. On the left is, no problem. On the left is the lesson plan. We include things like an overview, materials, time requirements, state standards, as well as probing questions, lesson extensions and modifications, which aren't pictured, but they're on the second page of this lesson plan. Our very first lesson is all about breaking down the importance of understanding getting ready, college and career ready. There are some great critical thinking questions and conversations that this lesson can get started for you guys. We start by asking students what they think recent high school graduates need to know to be successful and what they think people need to know to start a career. After reading a passage about being college and career ready, discussing the topics and breaking down the vocabulary, we ask students to think again about the questions they answered at the beginning. Questions like, would any of your answers from part A change? Explain why or why not. Or explain how some people find success if they're not college and career ready when they graduate high school. So that's the very first lesson. I think it's very thought-provoking. We can go to the next one. So here's a view of one of the unit overviews. What do you as the educator need to know, and what big ideas are guiding this unit? We highlight the essential questions and key concepts to help prepare for the lessons within the unit. I've also included a view of the student sheet. You can see there's room for students to research and discover various post-secondary college options. Next. As I mentioned earlier, we have enough lessons for a full semester or even a year-long course. All the lessons build and work off of each other. However, if you're in a time crunch or working with other resources, there are lessons that we believe highlight a holistic view of preparing students for college and career readiness. Thinking outside of one's post-secondary options, students spend time getting to know themselves, how they operate, and how they perceive themselves, and how they can take control and own their own education. So these are the lessons that we think: setting personal and academic goals, study habits, investigating their own strengths and skills, positive self-concept, then knowing things like the types of college, what's outside of college but other post-secondary options, investigating career clusters and programs of study. We've put paying for college on here because that is an important TEAC area, understanding, finances and paying for college. So those are all the things that we think are a very holistic view of college and career readiness. We can go to the next one. So if you're new to teaching this course or looking for more professional development to prepare yourself for students' questions, we have a couple of resources that can help guide you, which is great. I'm so glad we saw a lot of new users here. So we have first, I'm sorry, on the next slide. So first is a simple resource that has a list of modules that align topically with events in the school year. You stay up to date with your professional learning and gather resources for your students when they need them. We have suggestions for both middle school and high school educators on what academy modules, Texas OnCourse Academy modules, they can use to align their professional development with what's going on throughout the school year. And this resource, if you like a calendar view of something, this resource is linked in the chat. Next, we have gathered modules, webinars, blogs, PDFs, and other resources for each topic area within the curriculum in one document. This resource, this is actually page 2 of the resource, but you can see that we've broken it down by what Academy module would be best to study related to what topic you're looking at within the curriculum, plus supplemental materials. This resource will help you create a professional development plan for yourself on topics that matter to your students. In this Academy and Curriculum Alignment Guide, with this, you'll soon be able to deep dive into the topics for the College and Career Readiness course. And this resource is also linked in the chat if you're looking for helping guide your professional development. So, as mentioned earlier, we just completed minor updates. However, we want to make this curriculum even more tailored to what y'all want. We have a quick survey where you can give us some feedback on the curriculum. It takes less than 3 minutes, so we're going to pause right now. If y'all can either grab that QR code or the link is in the chat, and it will direct you to our quick survey. We're going to hold on this slide for a few minutes so you guys can do this. Again, the feedback you provide will let us know what we can do for you. Do you want to see more multiple choice assessments? Should we update to make an LMS common cartridge Canvas version for your students to self-navigate? Do you want us to point to more family resources for your parents and guardians? Let us hear your thoughts. There's also an option to let me know if you would like to have a quick chat with me. I'd love to get 5 to 8 one-on-one interviews to hear from you from all over the state what educators need in their class related to the College and Career Readiness course.
Hi there, my name is Tamara Reddick-Cottrell, and I'm happy to share with you an introduction to Navigate for our Texas OnCourse February webinar. Before I get started, I wanted to share that the views expressed are my own and do not necessarily reflect the official positions of the Federal Reserve System. With that in mind, I wanted to formally introduce myself as well. My name is Tamara Reddick-Cottrell again. I am an economic education advisor for the Dallas Fed, and my counterpart there is Morgan Ackley. And additionally, we work with our Assistant Vice President, Armida Riojas, and Allison Clark. And together we make up our economic education team at the Dallas Fed. To get started, I wanted to kind of give you an idea of why we're even here in the first place. Why would the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas specifically have a conversation about college and career readiness and what is Navigate? Why are we even here? So we like to start with kind of a Fed 101 to tell you a little bit about who we are. So I will briefly let you know who we are. As many of you already know, the Federal Reserve Bank system is the central bank of the United States. It's comprised of the Board of Governors and 12 regional banks, known as the FOMC, or the Federal Open Market Committee. And so with that, our system is both regional and national, public and private, and both independent and accountable as a result. So you'll see there those 4 boxes. The role of the Federal Reserve, many of us know, is to conduct the nation's monetary policy. But we also supervise and regulate banks. We provide oversight for our nation's payment system to keep the economy running. And then we also promote ways for low-income communities to change their income or wealth through community development. So you'll see here the 11th district is with the Federal Bank of Dallas, and that includes Texas, Southern New Mexico, and Northern Louisiana. And our specific education, economic education team our objective is to assist in our bank's mission by creating and designing resources like publications and professional development, specifically for teachers who serve majority minority students. Like you see there in Texas, that's 2018, 2019 data. But you'll see that we do, Texas has a lot of majority minority schools. And so it's important for us to fulfill our bank's mission by making sure that we have resources and helping prepare students for decisions that would help them realize economic mobility, including college and career choices. So that's why we're here, because it's a part of our bank's mission. So with that, now that you know a little bit about us, I wanted to dive right in and tell you about our resource, Navigate. What's it all about and what is Navigate? So when you see that quote there, preparing students for life after high school is a key component of their learning process. You think about, college and careers, that whole pathway and understanding that prepares students for life after high school, but what kind of life? That's where we come in, especially thinking about a life during unprecedented times like COVID-19 and the changing economy. How can we really truly prepare students for what they can do economically and realizing financial stability in an ever-changing economy? So education after high school is critical because they become workers who develop skills that will enhance their employment opportunities. So whether that be at a four-year institution, a trade school, or a community college, or a two-year college of that sort, now more than ever, education is the way to navigate what students do. So that's why we came up with our publication, Navigate there. And you should have a link to that, or we'll provide you with that link. But it is a free publication, and you'll see here now in Navigate, we offer 6 units to talk about how to get those students prepared, or participants prepared for college and making that choice, their education pathway. We talk about exploring careers. What about college? How do you get in? Which is one of my favorite units. How much does college cost? Paying for it, and then future pathways. You'll see that each unit talks about those things, and it has an objective, slides and handouts, an assessment, which we'll talk about here in a minute, and a glossary. Students can actually write in the workbook. So as I mentioned, it is a free publication. You can have it printed off, or we can send it to you directly. And students can write in it, so it's completely consumable. There's also a teacher handbook, but I'll talk to you really quickly about Unit 1, just as an example. So looking at Unit 1, exploring careers, each unit in Navigate starts off with like facts about college and careers, pathways, and then it's something to think about. So like in Unit 1, this objective is to understand the difference between education and development of what we call human capital. It provides a central place to learn about career choices, including those that may or may not have stringent education requirements. Also, we tend to pick, like when you see a career path there in each unit, we like to have pick careers that have growth opportunities, like registered nurse, for example. And so we also have activities that allow students to reflect on their thinking and their own skill set. Like you see here, we talked about human capital. So in the unit here, this activity allows them to come up with their top 5 skills, for example, even if they're struggling with them. This is an opportunity to have a conversation about them, these skills, and to plan ahead, or kind of think of what steps they would need to take based on these skills, and to get them thinking about where they want to go. So that activity is there. And then lastly, we also incorporate we call them career cards. We group together different themes of different careers, like for example, art and design. And then underneath those, we have different jobs that you could have, or careers choices that you could have if your interest is art and design. Like maybe you want to be a fashion designer, or maybe you want to be a graphic designer. So we put those examples in there as well. We also work with or incorporate the use of internet tools like the Occupational Outlook Handbook. So in those activities, students are given opportunities to do research and to use the tools around them to help narrow down their choices. And at the very, very end, specifically this unit, they walk away with kind of like a start to what their plan would be, their career choice, and explaining what they want to do, and just kind of a guide to what their next steps would be. How do they even get started? And again, they write in the workbook. This could be something to record their thinking and use as a reference as they continue along the process. And as I mentioned, we navigate into the Dallas Fed was written by educators, people who really understand the implications of teaching students or those in learner-centric organizations. And so we embed an assessment after every unit to really gauge the students' learning and what they understand and their mastery. So you are free to use that in whatever way you deem appropriate, but we have embedded and created assessments for you. Something else to note that new features in Navigator, something especially given where we were during the pandemic, when students, we weren't in school, like physically in campuses, and we had to kind of pivot and make some different choices. We worked with a partner who was able to help us get a fillable PDF. So even if you couldn't print it off, students could get online and fill that in to the workbook and work on it on the computer as opposed to having hard copies of anything. So that's still available. And we also, again, trying to meet the needs of all of our students and our families. We have created parent letters in English and Spanish. Updates that we are making to navigate, given some of the research that we've done through conversations and opportunities to learn from organizations like Texas OnCourse. We are looking at ways to update the publication based on different career choices and pathways, making sure that we include those updates given the changing economy. Also, education requirements, knowing that it's not necessarily always just about a 4-year college or even 2-year for that matter, but really honing in on different education requirements given the changing economy. And then we wanted to update the publication to talk about deeper dives into understanding the cost and how costs for education and the career choice that you have made varies. And so we look out for those updates, and we'll make sure to keep you posted on when they're formalized, but those are different ways that we're planning to update the publication. Lastly, I wanted to leave you with key financial concepts in Navigate. While Navigate is a college and career readiness publication or tool that you can use with your students, we also embed those key financial concepts that we want students to understand. So in Unit 5, for example, paying for college, that's an opportunity to talk about financing your future, which is a key concept we want students to understand. And we talk about scholarships, grants, work studies, and loans, for example, and then those different ways and the implications of choosing those. So you get an opportunity to explore that with your students. And then another key concept that we talk about is creating a budget. Paying for college is important and understanding how to budget for that. So we cover those key concepts in that unit where we're practicing creating a budget that you see there. And students get to talk about setting long-term goals, understanding their income or financial position, and then sticking to a budget as well. So those activities are embedded in Navigate. Lastly, we are again very excited to introduce Navigate to you, and we actually want to chat with you. So you'll see there on the screen, there is a QR code. If you don't mind accessing that, giving us some feedback on Navigate and giving us your contact information, we would love to get in touch with you and have opportunities to learn more about what you're doing with your students on your campuses or in your organizations and how we can serve as a partner with you. Lastly, there is my contact information as well as my counterpart, Morgan Ackley. If you want to reach out to us directly, there's our email address, and we welcome an opportunity to hear from you as well. With that, thank you so very much.
So just to let you know, mark your calendars for our next webinar. Again, I really apologize for this morning's going to end a little sooner. But our March webinar is coming up. Again, they're always the second Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. And we will be covering the Find Transfer Success with the new Texas Transfer Framework. So a little bit of background for that. In 2021, over 30,000 Texas students applied to transfer from a community college to a four-year university. And so during this webinar, you'll learn about some of the challenges facing our transfer students and how the new Texas transfer framework was developed and how it will be able to help these students to find success in higher education. So our staff at this next webinar will discuss how counselors and advisors can use the Texas transfer framework to help students reduce excess hours, time to degree, and costs associated with post-secondary education. And we know that is a huge hurdle for most of our students. We'll be covering some of our higher ed modules, as well as advising students on which courses to take based on the transfer process. One more opportunity for you all. I did mention earlier that we were going to have some different surveys going on. The Texas OnCourse team and BERT group are working on evaluating the implementation and impact of the district fellowship program. And they are focusing on launching a new network for you that supports your college and career advising practices. So they will be hosting several different focus groups this spring. And we would love to hear from some of our current and former district fellows. And if you remember in previous years, we briefly met with you or your team to talk about how we can continue to support you. So this would be for about an hour to discuss your experience in the program and what your needs are for the future. And of course, we appreciate your voice, and it's crucial for us to plan ahead. We'll be dropping a link in the chat for this as well, that you can sign up and pick a day and a time through the calendar link, and all right, well, you guys enjoy your Valentine's Day. We really appreciate having you guys out here and participating and letting us know where you're from and things that you're working on. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.